When the Newtonians broke up, I was at a low. Genetically modified foods, MSG, gluten, you name it, I was using. One day, I remember being cut off at a KFC. When the attendant kicked me out, I remember thinking I'm lucky to be making it out on my feet. Later, I came to find out that the amount of gluten that I had ingested was enough to cause a mild stomachache.
John approached me about starting a band, but honestly, how much non-organic food was he on? I didn't think it would go anywhere. When I caught him meeting his dealers at Domino's, I was about to call off the whole project. Then we were hit by a storm. I remember watching the clouds roll in, lightning, thunder, started pouring rain, and the smell of pizza grease. And then bam, it was all gone.
After this storm experience, the guys said this was a sign. The rock and roll god had given us a chess piece to play. So obviously we turned to Google. Fast storm comes, then leave. Carl Booberg popped up and a YouTube link. We check it out, and it turned out we had written this sick song after exactly the same experience.
We sent John to rehab and made sure that he was only buying foods from Wegmans, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. Then we started the band, Carl and the Bobergs.
Like Ardity and myself, Boberg and some friends were coming home and experienced an insane storm. And as the thunder came and as the clouds rushed and as all the chaos began and ensued, just as fast it stopped. And all they saw was a rainbow.
When I came home, I opened my window toward the sea. There evidently had been a funeral and the bells were playing the tune of When Eternity's Clock Calls My Saved Soul to Its Sabbath Rest. That evening I wrote the song. The first literal English translation of O Stor Gott was by E. Gustave Johnson. His translation of verses 1, 2, and 7 and 9 was published in the United States in the Covenant Hymnal as Almighty God.
There was a lot of people messing with Boberg's work. Honestly, if I could speak Swedish, I would just sing it like the original.
We have attempted to sing the original. O Storgun Nagdavuladam Paskalashwala. Well, you get the idea.
Quite honestly, I don't understand the problem with making up lyrics. Mostly because I forget them from time to time, but it makes a more interesting experience. For instance, if you went to a U2 concert, do you really want to hear the same song you've been hearing on the radio over and over and over and over again? Or a song you can look up on the YouTube? No. You want to hear something different. Something interesting.
Given the popularity of Stuart Hines' translation of How Great Thou Art in the late 60s and early 70s, the Hymnal Commission struggled with whether to go with a more popular version or retain E. Gustave Johnson's translation.
Hard part of this is John playing How Great Thou Art over and over and over again. Last night, I think we played it 8 times consecutively.
I love How Great Thou Art. Now, I'm over the whole playing different versions of the same song. The whole Newtonian thing was cool, but we don't do it anymore. What I like to do now is play the song repeated over and over and over again. But each time we go to the next song, we play it the same way, except we raise it a step and we make it a little higher. And then the next time we make it a little higher. And then the next time we make it a little higher. And so on and so forth, and it really messes with the people, but it shows sort of the metaphysical qualities of the song.
One of the most notable performances of How Great Thou Art was during the Billy Graham Crusades by George Beverly Shea. Shea's recording of the hymn ranks number 204 on the top recordings of the 20th century. Evangelist Billy Graham said, "The reason I like How Great Thou Art is because it glorifies God. It turns Christians' eyes towards God rather than upon themselves. I use it often as possible because it is such a God-honoring song."
When we started the band and decided to make it into a more techno format, digital, for those of you unfamiliar with the term, we opted not to have drums or percussion of any kind, namely to keep with the originality of what things were like in his time. Now see, the drum didn't come into being until the 80s or 90s, when a man named Phil Collins invented it.
This hymn has been and will continue to be one of the most identified with and instrumental musical representations of worship. After countless translations and adaptations, the lyrical frontier remains vast. Join us as we continue Behind the Music, How Great Thou Art.